Today we're going to talk about the new Super Troop event coming in game and then highlight the strongest fireball army where the druids with the giant and the magic mirror make all the difference. Earlier in the month we highlighted this as the May season calendar and we're finally up to the bottom right. A new super deal arrives. And essentially this is going to be a 99% off for Super Troops, which is kind of insane when you think about it. Now, I don't have the offer here, but it should go from 25k down to 250 Dark Elixir if my math is correct. It should go all the way down to 250 Dark Elixir. Insane. So much more affordable to use. Well, don't use the Super Valk, but if you want to use, say, the Super Yeti, will be much easier to justify the cost because 25k, I get it for those of you farming heroes. It is quite expensive, so go ham with some of the Super Troops. One army you could look at using is Fireball Rocket Balloons. This attack strategy requires 2 lots of Super Troops, so it can be expensive if you're not willing to buy both of them, because you desperately need both of them in this. But if it's down to 250 Dark Elixir each, then it's definitely worth it, because the rocket balloons not only nice for finishing off the base, but also for setting up flame flingers. This base had 2 mortars on the outside of the base and thought that would be enough of a deterrent, but we put down 1 rocket loon on each and 1 regular loon on each, and that is enough to set up insane flame flinger value. It's actually going to clear at least these 2 buildings here, which is unbelievable value. Now I'm just going to go for safe fireball value here. We do get the Archer Queen down as well. You might be thinking, why not go for the CC too? You would get insane value with that, and you're not wrong. But I am going to kind of neutralize the CC here, because whilst the CC will still come out, if I can deal with the CC when I'm taking no damage, it's kind of as good as taking it down. It does cost a little extra time, particularly with everyone running Furnace CCs at the moment. It will cost you time, but trust me, we are going to finish off this base so quickly, because we are bringing 2 druids in the army. Now, druids, yeah, they're not very good in the game, but they actually work perfectly in this attack strategy. So as I said before, you can see we neutralize in the CC. I have to poison the Furnace. The Furnace is just way too dangerous to be left alive, which means these Ice Golems are going to be a pain, but thankfully, there's only 2 of them. So the Warden deals with that 1, and now we're getting ready on the right-hand side, because I'm pretty confident my Warden's going to go to the left, and then the heroes are going to deal with the right-hand side. Now, your druids here are 9 times out of 10 for your Archer Queen. You can use them with your Royal Champion as well if you're doing a Royal Champion charge, but trust me, it's much better like this. And you're going to see here, right? Look at the amount of damage my Archer Queen's going to be taking. By the way, good on the Unicorn tanking the Ricochet Cannon. Look at this. So, this is where the druids come into their own. As soon as you pop the ability, and this is the hero equipment we're running, by the way, in case you're curious on the other hero equipment, there it is. This is the hero equipment we're running, and it works perfectly with the druids, because the druids are going to heal everything. Look at this, right? They're poisoned from the Town Hall effect, but they're still keeping the heroes alive. And look, all 3 mirror clones are staying alive here, despite all of the damage in the core. The Giant is also staying alive, and even when the druids do eventually run out, they just turn into bears anyway, and the bears are nice tanking. They're even more tanking for your heroes. And look, we just went straight across the center of the base there. We had no right to get through everything, including the Rage Tower. We had the Royal Champion on the flank, and it's just a way of using all 3 of your heroes together to overwhelm the back end of the base, and Town Hall 17 cannot stop it. So the druids are really nice, but this is just the first replay of 4 I've got for you. Let's jump into another one. This is a pretty meta layout here, and we're going to take it down, not easily, but we are going to take it down with this attack strategy. Nice fireball off the start. It does cost us 2 earthquake spell, 2 invis spells, sorry, but not really the end of the world. Now, I'm going to 4 times through this. You guys aren't here to watch a Warden charge on the outside of the base. We're here to watch the power of the King and Queen with the Druid, because in this attack, you're going to see how the Druid actually pairs amazingly with the Giant. So Warden on the bottom side. Let's come in on the top side. Now, there is a Rage Tower here, a lot of damage, and I don't get great value from the Spiky Ball, and my Ice Golem is late, but because of how the Giant mechanics work, we're actually going to get good value from our heroes here, because remember, if that Giant gets below, I believe it's 50% health, it gets raged. And what the Druids are really good at is they let the Giant take a little bit of damage at the start because the Giant gets ahead. And then look, the Giant is now raged. And when it's raged, it does insane damage. It goes through walls like nothing. And now we start to see the Druids bouncing onto the Giant. And despite all the damage on it, it stays alive and opens up the wall. Royal Champion Rocket Spear finishes off the Town Hall. And look at this. I've still got now a full health Archer Queen. Yeah, we use the ability, but still, to have a full health Archer Queen after pushing straight through a Rage Tower, that doesn't happen most of the time. And my Archer Queen's going to live with full HP. If I didn't have Druids, I definitely don't get through all that. The Archer Queen is going down a long time ago. Essentially, the Druids, it's not just about your mirror clones, it's about the Giant, and the longer the Giant lives, the easier it is for said mirror clones. But what I really like about the Druids is, some of the time they can go a bit haywire, but you're still going to get some sort of value. So Fireball comes in here. I mean, of course I'm going to go for it if I get the... Well, I didn't finish the Gear Up Tower, but I finished off the CC. Geared Up Tower goes down instantly. Couple of Rocket Balloons to finish off the Town Hall. Now, because I used quite a few Rocket Balloons at the start here, I'm actually not going to have that many Rocket Balloons to finish off the base, but it doesn't really matter because we've got heroes to do the job for us. Now, generally with the Fireball, you definitely want to go after Rage Towers, and that's the power of this base. You're kind of forced to Fireball the Town Hall there because Warden charging into 2 Rage Towers is nearly impossible. But thankfully, we've got heroes, and if there's something that's broken in the game, it definitely is heroes. So we use another Rocket Balloon on the top side. Warden comes in. Unfortunately, you got to be careful using Cocoa Balloons, because look, I activate this Rage Tower early here. So this Scatter is now raged. If I didn't put that Cocoa Balloon down, the Scatter wouldn't have been raged till right now. So you need to be sure, when you put a Cocoa Balloon in, you might risk activating the Rage Tower, so you have to decide if it's worth it in the end. That's my last Invis spell. So look at this, right? My Warden is around a lot of damage. Now, I have got 2 free spells and a Rage spell, but am I really going to be able to keep my Warden alive? Probably not. It depends. If he goes to the outside of the base, maybe. So I decide to take a risk here, and it's a risk I do like doing from time to time. We're going to bring the Warden with the heroes here, because time isn't really an issue. We fireballed early on in the attack and have set a beautiful funnel. Then we've got the Siege Barracks on the top side. There was no Flame Flinger value, by the way, beautiful Rocket Balloon to pull those 2 Seeking Air Mines, but there was no Flame Flinger value. Now, if you can get Flame Flinger value, absolutely go for that, but that's not always guaranteed. We use the Earthquake Boost to open up the base, and then have a look at this. These Druids do annoy me, but they do get somewhat of value, even if it's not necessarily what you're hoping for, because they are keeping these P.E.K.K.A.s alive. Look at these P.E.K.K.A.s. They're just not going down. The base desperately wants to get rid of them, but they are staying alive, and because of that, it's pushing my Archer Queen directly into the center of the base. Now, the healers from the Warden have switched, and we have this beautiful Giant here. The Druids come back. It did come back just in time to turn into a boar. That was unfortunate timing, or unfortunate timing. Then the boar on the outside of the base is tanking the Royal Champion as well. It just all works out really nicely here. Look at this Giant. Takes down the Expo through the wall. Just a ridiculously strong troop. If anything, I was wrong about the action figure. Well, I wasn't wrong. It's just... it's really strong. It's really strong, the Giant. I love it in more attack strategies than I thought I would, and it works perfectly in this. For context, I switched to this army comp today. Now, I have been pushing with this army comp with Fireball, Rocket Balloons all month, but I didn't switch to this army comp where I bring the 2 Druids till today. And this was my very first attack with the army, and it just showed me that I'd been wrong all along not to use it. So we got the Warden Charge coming in. We found a few Seeking Mines early. I thought I'd found them all. Turns out I hadn't. This guy had like 1 million Seeking Air Mines on one small part of the base. There's another one on the left-hand side for the baby dragon. And have a look at this. I think I've found 5 so far, or at least 4, and I'm about to find a 5th. Now, I love doing this. When you pull a Skelly Trap, do the Fireball, because the Warden will switch to the Skeletons, which means the Invis that you use to redirect the Fireball won't mess up his pathing. Another Seeking Air Mine, because apparently this guy has infinite Seeking Air Mines on his base. Doesn't really matter. The raged up Town Hall just about takes down my Warden. That was a little too close, but my Warden's not really going to live too much longer here. It does get a few extra buildings, but you can see, good start, and we have a good funnel. So we're going to do the Siege Barracks, because yet again, there was no good fireball value here. And you're going to see I use a last freeze spell and a couple of rocket balloons to protect the headhunters here to keep this Warden getting as much value as possible. But I was pretty sure he's going to go down. But the difference this time is once he goes down, look at these healers. I mean, this guy had every air trap on one side of the base. It's a real detriment to what a strategy game is. But you know what? Respect to this guy, because it worked. He got rid of all of my healers. But look, we're going to go with our heroes and take down the entire core of the base, because the Warden didn't do it. But we don't need the Warden to do it when we've got a couple of Druids on our heroes. The Siege Barracks emptying the Yetis out. The Yeti is setting an excellent funnel. And yet again, the Poison Tower is actually on the Druids as well here, so they are getting slowed down. As soon as this multi goes down, the Giant thankfully retargets. The Giant can be stupid with its pathing, but when it's smart, it's nice. And look at this. All our troops are full health, so that we survive through the Giga Bomb, and then we get a couple of boars, and the boars are going to come out and help. Yeah, one of them gets sprung, not much we can do about that, but they're still tanking for the Giant. The Giant gets raged now. The Royal Champion is just doing a lap of the base. I'm not even maximizing the Rocket Spear ability here, because it's completely unneeded. I love this attack strategy. It is kind of cool to see the Druids be usable. I'd actually like to see them get a buff though. It'd be really cool to see Druids become meta again and have a balance between healers and Druids in the game, because I think it's cool to have multiple healing troops. Let me know down below what you think of this army comp. Did I make a mistake and not upload a Super Yeti video? If there's any Super Yeti strategy videos you want to do, let me know, but I think you've seen it all on YouTube at this stage.